Hey Hey, My is a rock song by Neil Young. Combined with its acoustic counterpart My, Hey Hey, it bookends Young's successful 1979 album Rust Never Sleeps. Inspired by electropunk group Devo, the rise of punk and what Young viewed as his own growing irrelevance, the song significantly revitalized Young's career at the time, and today crosses generations, inspiring admirers from punk to grunge. The song is about the alternatives of continuing to produce similar music to fade away or to burn out. A line from the song, "It's better to burn out than to fade away," became infamous after being quoted in Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain's suicide note. Young later said that he was so shaken that he dedicated his 1994 album Sleeps with Angels to Cobain. Because of Cobain's suicide, in live concerts he now emphasizes the line "Once you're gone you can't come back." Origins: the song Hey, Hey, My, and the title phrase of the album, Rust Never Sleeps, on which it was featured, sprang from Young's encounters with Devo and in particular Mark Mothersbaugh. Devo was asked by Young in 1977 to participate in the creating of his film Human Highway. A scene in the film shows Young playing the song in its entirety with Devo, who clearly want little to do with anything radio-friendly. While the famous line "It's better to burn out than it is to rust" is often credited to Young's friend Jeff Blackburn of the Ducks, its sentiment is also similar to an adage by President Millard Fillmore, "It is better to wear out than to rust out." Neil Young's 1969 song Cowgirl in the Sand has the lyric "Hello Ruby in the Dust, has your band begun to rust?" Some fans believe the reference to rusting refers to the Cowgirls musical band. Others feel it references the Cowgirls' marriage. Some reviewers viewed Young's career as skidding after the release of American Stars and Bars and Comes a Time. With the explosion of punk in 1977, some punks felt that Young and his contemporaries were becoming obsolete. Young worried that they were right. The death of Elvis Presley that same year seemed to sound a death knell for rock, as The Clash cried, "No Elvis, Beatles or the Rolling Stones" in 1977. In the song 1977, from Young's fear of becoming obsolete sprang an appreciation of the punk ethic, and the song was born, initially an acoustic lament that became My, Hey Hey. Upon embarking on a tour with his backing band Crazy Horse, the song took on new life in a rock arrangement, punctuated by Young's guitar solos that would go on to inspire players of the proto-grunge scene, including Sonic Youth, The Meat Puppets, Pixies and Dinosaur Jr. Legacy: upon its release, Rust Never Sleeps was hailed as a commercial and critical revitalization for Young, and the successful, bizarre tour, sound technicians in lab coats, audio recordings from Woodstock played from disintegrating tapes, etc. earned him a new generation of fans and goodwill, buoyed mainly by Hey Hey, My. As Young's commercial popularity waned in the 1980s, an underground rock movement began to embrace the artist. At a time when glam metal and bubblegum pop saturated commercial airwaves, disaffected bands used Young as a prime example of the perfect blend of noise and melody, braggadocio and vulnerability, folk and hard rock. A collection of Neil Young covers emerged in the late 80s, featuring a veritable who's who of the pre-Nirvana grunge scene. When Nirvana appeared on the national stage with Nevermind, Cobain and Young took to acknowledging one another in the press. Hey Hey, My's most memorable impact on modern rock comes from the line "It's better to burn out than to fade away." Kurt Cobain's suicide note ended with the same line, shaking Young and inadvertently cementing his place as the so-called godfather of grunge. Ex-Beatle John Lennon commented on the message of the song in a 1980 interview with David Sheff from Playboy. "Sheff, you disagree with Neil Young's lyric in Rust Never Sleeps, 'It's better to burn out than to fade away.'" Lennon, "I hate it. It's better to fade away like an old soldier than to burn out. If he was talking about burning out like Sid Vicious, forget it. I don't appreciate the worship of dead Sid Vicious or of dead James Dean or dead John Wayne. It's the same thing. Making Sid Vicious a hero, Jim Morrison a hero, it's garbage to me. I worship the people who survive a hero, Gloria Swanson, Greta Garbo. They're saying John Wayne conquered cancer a hero, he whipped it like a man. You know, I'm sorry that he died and all that a euro, I'm sorry for his family a euro, but he didn't whip cancer. It whipped him. I don't want Sean worshipping John Wayne or Johnny Rotten or Sid Vicious. What do they teach you? Nothing. Death. Sid Vicious died for what? So that we might rock. I mean, it's garbage, you know. If Neil Young admires that sentiment so much, why doesn't he do it? Because he sure as hell faded away and came back many times, like all of us. No, thank you. I'll take the living and the healthy. Young would reply 2 years later when asked to respond to Lennon's comments. The rock and roll spirit is not survival. Of course the people who play rock and roll should survive. But the essence of the rock and roll spirit to me, is that it's better to burn out really bright than to sort of decay off into infinity. Even though if you look at it in a mature way, you'll think, well, yes. You should decay off into infinity, and keep going along. Rock and roll doesn't look that far ahead. Rock and roll is right now. What's happening right this second? Is it bright? Or is it dim because it's waiting for tomorrow? That's what people want to know. And that's why I say that. The song also had an impact on Britpop artists. Oasis covered the song on their 2000 World Tour, including it on their live album and DVD Familiar to Millions. Not coincidentally, the band acknowledged Cobain's attachment to the song by dedicating it to him when they played it in Seattle on the 6th anniversary of his death. Scottish band Big Country recorded a version, which can be heard on their Undercovers album, and the remastered edition of their live album without the aid of a safety net. It is also used as live intro to System of a Down's Kill Rock 'n' Roll in some live performances. The song still appears frequently on FM radio today, most often on classic rock stations. Young's penchant for bookending an album with the same song in different renditions, first seen on Tonight's the Night, returned on his second comeback album, Freedom, in 1989, with Rockin' in the Free World. Young performs the song at nearly every concert in one form or another. It is included on his greatest hits. Many other bands and singers have played or recorded covers of this song: System of a Down, Dave Matthews Band, Cross Canadian Ragweed, Bat Gleam, Rick Derringer, Norman Ansno, Mexican rock and roll band El Tri, Finnish glam rock band Negative, Argentine rock band La Renga, Chromatics, Jake Bugg, Axl Rudy Bell on his 2014 album Into the Storm. The song is the title theme of Dennis Hopper's movie Out of the Blue. The song was included at number 93 in Bob Mercerow's book The Top 100 Canadian Singles. Peter Buck of R.E.M. has acknowledged in interviews that his band's first hit, The One I Love, is actually a rewriting on Neil Young's Hey Hey, My. Courtney Love, singer for Hole and Cobain's widow, alludes both to this song and her husband's suicide note in the song Reasons to Be Beautiful from the album Celebrity Skin. In Reasons to Be Beautiful, she changes the verse to It's better to rise than fade away. Def Leppard begins their song Rock of Ages with the lines I got something to say / it's better to burn out than fade away. The same lines were used in the movie Highlander by the Kurgan and used in the Queen song Gimme the Prize on their A Kind of Magic album. Metalcore band Killswitch Engage have quoted the line in their song New Awakening. The lyrics of the song, in particular Out of the Blue and Into the Black, are an epigraph and also a prominent feature in Stephen King's It. References. External links, song lyrics at Metrolyrics, Hyperrust Never Sleeps, a Neil Young database with information and further lyrics, Kurt Cobain and Neil Young, details the connection between Nirvana and Young, as well as Cobain's suicide note. Sonic Youth and Neil Young, details Sonic Youth's involvement with Young during the early 1990s, Ruth Israel, Rachel Auger and Patrick McAllister, theatrical blues performance dedicated to Neil Young.